So, you all probably know who and what Toyota are. Probably know them from their most famous cars, the Camry, RAVs, Tacomas, Tundras, all the main vehicles in the car brand. But do you know about the Toyota Supra? It's been 22 years since they've manufactured this until this year in 2020. And it's most iconic for its mobility in the engine, its modifications it could have. Only a few car enthusiasts can get one nowadays because how hard they are to get. You have to mainly import them from Japan, from special dealers. And now that you know a little bit about Supra, let's get into the history of it. In the 1960s, there was a huge craze for mid-size sedans, and Toyota wanted to get their hands on it. So they went to the drawing boards and started planning out their own mid-size sports sedan. And in 1978, they released their first version of the Toyota Supra, the Toyota Celica XX. And this was not liked by Toyota in North America, so they changed it to Toyota Celica Supra. And the actual change actually upgraded the engine in the Toyota Supra to from an inline 4 to an inline 6. In 1981, they made the second version called the Toyota Celica Supra Mark II. This one didn't sell well at all because it wasn't well known still in the midsize sedan sporting. And in 1986, they split the Supra and the Celica into two different vehicles, two different productions, and they made the Supra Mark III. This one didn't sell well at all because the other two weren't selling well, and it still wasn't known, and it also had 500 more pounds than the Mark II, so people didn't like it because it made it slower. But in 1992, they made the Mark IV, which is a lot different than the other marks, and it has almost 500 pounds less than the Mark III, so they got rid of all the unneeded weight, and it was well known for the powerful 2JZ engine and the modifications and the mobility of the engine or the vehicle. And now that you know about the history, let's get into the engine. The 2JZ was an inline 6 with 2 turbochargers, and there was another version of the Toyota Supra Mark IV which didn't have superchargers, but that was for people who just wanted a little mid-sized sedan. It had a 3-liter engine and made around 320 horsepower and 315 pounds of torque. Foot-pounds of torque, my bad. It was well known for how modified it could be because how easy everything in the engine was. And Supras could push around 1,000 horsepower, modified enough because the engine could handle that much pressure. You could also force a lot of air into the cylinders without worrying about the structure of the whole engine breaking down. And has a 3-layered head gasket, so it can handle high boost pressure without blowing. And the whole entire block was made of iron, so it can handle the heat and everything else that's moving inside the engine. So all the pressure that's moving inside the engine, it can handle all that, helping everything else inside the engine. And in my conclusion, I told you about the Supra, the history, and the 2JZ engine inside of it. And yeah.